fashion, and investment opportunities. Whether you're looking to discover the future of real estate, explore Nigeria's culinary masterpieces, or get immersed in an electric Afrobeat performance, this is the event of the year. You can also join us for a film festival, cultural dance spectacles, and the recognition awards. Don't miss out on the business opportunities and cultural experiences waiting for you. Book your tickets now before they're gone on eventbrite.co.uk. Call or text +447 438 893 190 or 080 330 46768 or +447 459 071 747. Visit our website superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week London 2025. Nigeria Week London 2025, celebrating the best of Nigeria, is partnered with Civil Society, scaling up nutrition in Nigeria.
All right, you're welcome to SRTV Studios live in Asaba. And of course, it's Midweek Sports, midweek matchup as the case may be. Interestingly, I'm excited to be here today because I have in the studio with me one of my sports prodigies. Started sports analysis with me when he was 13 years old, and today is 17 years old. I make welcome Divine Oganawemo. You're welcome to SRTV Studios, Asaba.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes, we'll be looking at a lot of sporting issues that have come up during the last 1 week, but straight away we're going to be starting with the UEFA Champions League. A lot of pundits are giving it up for a blockbuster finals, and of course, that was not what we saw. It was a one-sided finals, giving it all the way to Paris Saint-Germain. So many things came into play that day. The fact that there were no big-name players in the Paris Saint-Germain team. They now play for one another, play for each other, complementary football, and that was the reason they got to where they were on that match. They defeated Internazionale de Milano, the Giuseppe Meazza's big guns by 5 unreplied goals to nothing. My anger was not about the scoreline, basically. It was more about this, the response from Internazionale de Milano. Let's look at the build-up to that game. I mean, recall the semifinals and, of course, the quarterfinal matches were all blockbusters, but the final was a far cry. Divine Oganawemo, let's get your analysis of the UEFA Champions League this season.
Yes, looking at the UEFA Champions League, it was a great season. A season where we had a new format, a change in the way we saw the Champions League. The teams that finished third didn't go to the Europa League. They just went home straight up. We had Slovan Bratislava in the league phase stage. They were the ones, the beatable boys. Everyone beat them. They conceded lots and lots of goals. We got to the playoffs. The playoffs were very good, very nice. We had big teams in the playoffs. We had Real Madrid. We had Manchester City. We had Paris Saint-Germain, who, of course, went on to win the UEFA Champions League. But it was a great season. Unexpected for Paris Saint-Germain to win the UEFA Champions League. People tipped Man City, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, but it came up and it was PSG that got the victory at the night.
Yes, looking at how PSG got that victory, the quality of play from the Paris Saint-Germain players. What's your evaluation of the standard of play? Looking at the last 3-4 seasons where they have been nearly beat, knocked out in the quarterfinals and semi-finals in the last couple of seasons, and this year they got to the finals. It was theirs to lose, and they didn't disappoint right there.
I think the problem for PSG throughout the seasons that has made them not to win the UEFA Champions League was, I think they have been buying big players, big name players, thinking that those players are going to give them the title. But looking at how it went, they used the academy players. Look at Desire Doué, looked at some of the best players. The player that scored the 5th goal in the final, he's an academy player. And you looked at those players, they had the hunger. Yeah. Look at Marquinhos, he has been with the team for quite a time now. The big names are all gone. Kylian Mbappe is not there. Neymar Jr. is not there. Lionel Messi is not there. But you see the play from Kvaratskhelia. Look at Ousmane Dembele carrying the team on his back. Look at Vitinha. They were all good, playing for each other and complementing each other, and it went well as it was supposed to go.
Yes, went well as it was supposed to go. Let's look at the English teams, the performances. Your own team. Yeah, he's a Liverpool fan. Yeah, diehard Liverpool fan. Your team, Liverpool. They were. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to you. They were the English champions. Let's look at Liverpool, Arsenal, and nearly getting there. PSG knocked up Arsenal, and look at Liverpool, and it was so painful. Let's look at the build up to the finals where the English teams faltered.
I think looking at this season, the season generally was a season that was very, very surprising. You looked at a season where most teams that won trophies won their first trophies. You looked at Crystal Palace, you look at Liverpool in a while. Look at Arsenal. I was even tipping Arsenal to win when Liverpool left because I was expecting that after PSG took out Liverpool, Arsenal were the best team to take them out. But Arsenal were not good enough. They didn't fight harder, and you saw PSG moving on. I think where Arsenal faltered was the point where they were thinking that the Paris Saint-Germain team, they have always been unlucky in the UEFA Champions League, and I think they messed up there, and it came back to haunt them because PSG were the better team on the night.
PSG were the better team on the night, says my young prodigy here in the studio. Yeah, and of course, they were the better over both halves. It was a game that didn't really depict the expectations of a lot of UEFA Champions League fans globally. We thought we were going to be seeing a blockbuster, but that was not what we got on the night. And congratulations to PSG. They distinguished themselves very well moving forward. And of course, it was a quality display from the PSG team. And looking at Internazionale Miller, I must let you know that their coach Inzaghi has put in the resignation letter leading into the Super Cup. And Inzaghi resigns from Inter Milan.
I think he's very disappointed that this season he couldn't get a trophy. I was looking at Inter Milan as a team, looking at the character they showed against Barcelona, coming from behind at multiple times, doing the incredible. It was an incredible night, especially on the second leg of the semi-finals where they beat Barcelona. It was incredible, emotional for the players, and they were all happy. But going into the final, I think they looked lackluster. They were all dragging their feet. I don't know, maybe it's the jersey or something. They were looking so relaxed, and PSG took the opportunity and took the chance. And Inzaghi resigning, I think, is the disappointment that he couldn't get a trophy for Inter Milan this season, which is very disappointing for an Inter Milan team that has a lot of good talents. You look at Dumfries, you look at Lautaro Martinez, you look at Benjamin Pavard. They have good players in the ranks, and not getting a trophy this season, I think he needs to resign and find somewhere else to pitch his tent.
Yes, needing to resign. I'm looking for somewhere else to pitch his tent. So says my young prodigy. Congratulations to Paris Saint-Germain, the 2025 UEFA Champions League winners. And of course, that was a great one. Let's come to the English Premiership where your team did win. Now, let's look. Arsenal have been near misses. And of course, I congratulate them. But now let's look at the performances of English teams. They're going to be having two, or rather six representations in the UEFA Champions League next season. And of course, all the club sides won something. Europa Conference League was picked up by Chelsea. Your Europa League was picked up by Tottenham. And you just name it, they're all just there. Good London clubs doing greatly. What's the evaluation of the quality and standard of play of the English sides this season in Europe?
The quality of the English teams in Europe, they were fantastic. They did very well for themselves. I must congratulate Tottenham Hotspur, who did the incredible. They went on to win their first trophy in years now, in about 17 years, since 2008. They haven't had a trophy, and they had the Europa League to smile about. We look at Chelsea, where it was their league to lose, because if I didn't they lost the UEFA Conference League, it would have been really embarrassing for a team such as Chelsea playing in such a league where most of the team in such a competition where most of the teams come from obscure nations where they don't fancy any chances of winning the UEFA Conference League. But looking at Chelsea, it is congratulations to Chelsea. Congratulations to most of the teams that won trophies this season from the English Premier League. We look at Tottenham Hotspur, we look at Liverpool, we look at Newcastle, Crystal Palace doing the incredible against Manchester City. We look at Newcastle doing the incredible also against Liverpool. It was just fantastic. The English teams did well this season, but just in the UEFA Champions League, they weren't good enough, and that's what led them to go out of the UEFA Champions
Yes,
League.
they were good enough. And of course, I'm in total agreement with that perception about the English teams this season in the UEFA Champions League. Moving forward, let's come to the African Champions League, where we saw two teams. Yes, Pyramids of Egypt never won it. And of course, they played against an ambitious Mamelodi Sundowns. Of course, who were trailing 1-2 from the first leg, and of course the second leg in aggregate it ended 3-2 in favor of Pyramids, who took up for the first round. Our own Kanu Nwankwo did the presentation. Now let's look at the African Champions League. What was your assessment of that finals?
I think the finals was very good. It was good enough for me. And looking at Pyramids, a team that has the hunger to win, they have never won the CAF Champions League before. And looking at them playing against a Mamelodi Sundowns team that is doing very well. They have always been there in Africa, always putting themselves up there in the mix among the best teams. And looking at Pyramid, an Egyptian team, these North African teams, they have the talent, they have the hunger. They always want to win in when they come to the African stage. And coming to the African stage, looking at Pyramid, a team that have not won the CAF Champions League before with the hunger and the perception, and I saw their hunger for it, and they got it most what they needed.
Yeah, they got it most where they needed. The Egyptian team is doing a great job of displaying what they have, and of course, the pyramids of Egypt, the big teams of Africa, were not able to present themselves in the finals. Yes, Mamelodi Sundowns, yes, they're a big team, they did well, no doubt. But I'm talking of the likes of Ali, Raja Casablanca of Morocco, the likes of TP Mazembe, and of course, we missed all those big teams, the likes of Eyimba of Nigeria. Missing out. But now let's look at the Champions League, CAF Champions League, Nigerian teams, their attitude, of course, the lack of competition. Why are Nigerian teams never getting it right? That's our Pyramids players doing the celebration there.
Yeah, looking at Nigerian teams in the CAF Champions League in Africa on the continental stage, our club sides, they are not doing very well. We don't have a very good league structure. You look at the North African teams, you look at some of the South African teams too, they're always doing well in Africa, doing well on the continent in the Confederations Cup, in the CAF Champions League. You look at them, they have a good league structure. We keep hammering on this thing about the Nigerian league structure, how we are not consistent enough. We don't know when our league is starting, we don't know when it's ending. We are having postponements here and there. We're always clashing with the CAF calendar, and it's always difficult for us. But looking at it, I think moving forward, we need private investors to move into our Nigerian football. The Nigerian clubs should start doing the best that they can. We need private investors, but without the business mentality, we can't get the best out of Nigerian football.
We can't get the best out of Nigeria. Let's take a clip. Let's have the clips of the CAF Champions League, and with some audio. Let's have the feel.
Now Adams trying to apply a bit of a press on Marai. There's a challenge from Mudiba on Atef. This is Mayele looking for Atef. Finds the winger. Now can he get the cross in? Shot ball coming in, and they scored! Mayele! Pyramids have the opener here in Cairo and go 2-1 ahead on aggregate.
I think we have just spoken about that cross into the box. The Sundowns not dealing with that cross very well. They get punished for it. In this instance, a poor clearance and a great finish from one of the top strikers in African football right now, Mayele.
Well, he's the leading goal scorer in this Champions League. That's his 9th of the competition. Fiston Mayele from Mbujimai in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and yet another goal for Pyramids. Jazz, a chance and a second goal! Pyramids with Sabi and Mark, the centre-back, in between the Sundowns defence, and a second goal for the home side.
We've been talking about the defenders.
Finds Allende once more. Little cross in from the Chilean, looking for Shalulile. The follow-up here for Raiders. They've pulled one back. Was that offside or not? Goal's been given. Mamelodi Sundowns with Ikram Rainers. Now they need one more to tie things up on aggregate and win on the away goals. They've got the one goal they needed, but they trail still by 2-1, and that might well be offside.
All right, let's look at it's good, interesting. That was the finals of the CAF Champions League. And of course, it was quite interesting. 3-2 in aggregate for the Pyramids. Now let's come back home and look at the Super Falcons. Recently, over the weekend in Abeokuta, we had 2 goals from Rasheedat Ajibade at Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta. They defeated the Cameroonian female national team by 2-0. Excuse me. And it was a great one for the Nigerian ladies. They distinguished themselves so much in that match, and of course, it was quite inspiring seeing them do what they did. Lots of evaluation of what we saw the Falcons do.
Yes, it was a friendly match, and looking at their character, they were good. They played nice football. Rasheedat Ajibade being our go-to man for the goals, and she got the 2 goals, and it was good enough for us, and we got the win against Cameroon. I think the Nigerian women national team, there have been something that in sports that have been bringing Nigerian fans joy. They always bring us the goods, and most times when they make mistakes, it's because of one thing or the other from the NFF and some external disturbances. But looking at this, they did very well against Cameroon.
Did very well. Let's get some clips of that match, and of course, for viewing audience to catch those that don't watch the match to capture the moments. Yes, we have more clips on that match. I think we can have here, and of course. Yes, that's a great one there. We've seen the Falconets, the Falcons doing what they know how to do best, and interesting. That was quite a great one. And of course, moving straight to the Super Eagles performances over the weekend, quite inspiring in the Unity Cup right there at the Brentford Stadium in United Kingdom. Of course, they did a great job over both legs, over two matches against Ghana and Jamaica. What's your evaluation of that match?
Yes, assessing the Super Eagles playing without our best man Victor Osimhen, who had a fantastic season, and playing against the Ghanaian national team. They were both friendly games. They were both games that we didn't need to field our best players. But looking at the game against Jamaica, Moses Simon and Chukwueze impressing with the goals, and it was really good to see the team doing very well against Ghana and Jamaica. And I think I like their display.
Their display. What? How can you really looking at the match proper in terms of tactics, in terms of intensity, in terms of technical input from the bench? What's your candid opinion about how the present Super Eagles are playing, or rather, how they played in the Unity Cup and how they had been playing before now?
I think there's an improvement, a very huge improvement. They played with more intensity, much more hunger, and they looked hungry to get started. So we can't wait for them to get back to the World Cup qualifiers so that they can get us going, because we are down in the World Cup qualifiers and we need to get to the World Cup. We have missed out on the last one. We can't afford to miss out on 2026 year.
Sure, we can't afford to miss out on 2026, and that's what the information just reaching us from the NFF Communications Department, which we're talking about the international friendly against Russia that is going to be happening on Friday. Of course, a number of withdrawals and injuries to some players have combined to alter the list of players who appear for Nigeria in Friday's international friendly match in Moscow, precisely, from the regional list drawn up by the Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell. The goalkeeping sector is partially affected, but then the first choice goalkeeper, Stanley Nwabali, is out because he's going to be burying the father, or rather the parents who passed on earlier on, so it's not there. But then in the stead, we're going to have in the likes of Italy-based Maduka and Tanzania-based Amas or Basoji, a former Bendel Insurance player, will be holding forth in the goal for the starting. Of course, we're not inviting any more goalkeepers. Those two, of course, are quite good. In the rear guard, Captain William Ekong is in Moscow alongside Bright Osai Samuel, joining the Unity trio of Bruno Onyemechi, Semi Ajayi, and Igo Ogbu. However, Nottingham Forest Ola Aino excused himself from the friendly, and Coach Chela has had to draft in the Unity Cup duo of Sadiq Ismaila and Benjamin Fredericks. Former junior international Fredericks impressed on his debut against Jamaica on Saturday. In the midfield, injury to Wilfred Ndidi has handed Enugu Rangers ace Xavier Isaac the opportunity to shine, and Isaac is a key member of the Eagles B team squad, which will participate in the African Nations Championship finals in August. He will join Frank Onyeka, Raphael Onyedika, Fisayo Dele Bashiru, and Christantus Uche and Papa Daniel Mustafa to fight for shirts in the middle of the pack. At the 4, Unity ace Samuel Chukwueze and Kelechi Iheanacho have excused themselves to attend to family matters, while Spain-based Sadiq Umar has suffered an injury. Nathan Taylor's United Kingdom passport is undergoing renewal process, so he's unable to travel. The sad situation has left Chelsea with only Victor Boniface and Simon Moses and Tolu Arokdare in the attack, and he has had to retain Sikira Alimi from the Unity Cup tournament in London, and also call up Russia-based former junior international Olakunle Olusegun, who plays for Krasnodar FC. The team, which arrived in Moscow on Monday, will begin training sessions. I've actually begun training sessions yesterday, and the match will take place in the 78,000 capacity Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. That's the largest stadium in Moscow and the 9th largest in the whole of Europe. And of course, that's a great one. Looking at this list, let's look at the club sides where these players play, and let's have an evaluation. Now, Maduka plays for Udinese in Italy, Amaso Basoye Singida Black Stars of Tanzania. Defenders, Trust Ekong plays for AI Kolal FC in Saudi Arabia. Prior to Sai Samuel plays for Fenerbahce of Turkey. Bruno Nemeshi plays for Olympiacos of Greece. Semir Ajayi plays for West Bromwich Albion. Slava Praga, that's where you have Igor Ogbu. And of course, Sadiq Ismaila, one home base, plays for Remo Stars. Benjamin Fredericks plays for Brentford of England. In the midfield, Frank Onyeka plays for Augsburg of Germany. Rafael Onyeka plays for Club Brugge. Fisayo Dele Basiru plays for FC Lazio. And of course, Cristantus Uche plays for Getafe of Spain. Papa Daniel plays for Niger Tornadoes. Xavier Isaac plays for Enugu Rangers. In the forward zone, Victor Boniface plays for Bayer Leverkusen. Simon Moses plays for FC Nantes. Tolu Arokudare plays for Genk of Belgium. Olakunle Olusegun plays for Krasnodar. And Sikiru Alimi plays for Remo Stars. So 2 Remo Stars players in this team. Great one.
Yeah, looking at this team, the team is looking dilapidated. It's broken already, but we still have some good players. We still have our defender, our captain, our skipper there, William Troost-Ekong. I think the defense is looking good, but the attack and the midfield are looking broken, and that's an issue that we may have. But looking at it, is a friendly game against the Russian national team, who have not really had the best of time with the outside world because of the war they had with Ukraine and all. But playing against Nigeria, we are seeing it as a friendly ball. Nigeria can still take it serious and just get a win, a slim win from the game.
A slim win expectedly is our expectation from these studios here, that we could nip it against the Russians on this one. Possibilities are there. Now let's come to the just concluded National Sports Festival. Delta State, like always, yes, are winners. What's your evaluation of the National Sports Festival?
That's come to a point where the Nigerian government needs to check what Delta State does, and other state governments to checking out what Delta State does, because they have been dominating the National Sports Festival for over the years now, and they have been getting the best of. Delta State has always had the opportunity of giving out the best sports talent to Nigeria. From Delta State, we always have the best coming out for Nigeria in sports and all, and it's always very good. Other state governments need to emulate what the Delta State government is doing and get encouraged through that, and encourage their own athletes as well.
Yes, encouraging their own athletes as well. That's the situation. It's all about motivation. I must let you know that the FIFA Under-17 World Cup draw takes place in Rabat later today. And of course, the draw ceremony for this year's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup Finals is scheduled today at about 1 p.m. Should be going on about now. For the very first time, 24 countries will take part in the tournament, which is the 9th edition since the competition was launched in New Zealand 17 years ago. In Pot 1, we have Morocco, one of Africa's flag bearers, Spain, Japan, and North Korea, who are the cup holders, USA and Nigeria, which is making its 8th appearance in the competition. In Pot 2, we have Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, New Zealand, Ecuador. In Pot 3, we have Cameroon, China, South Korea, Italy, France, Zambia, and in Pot 4, we have Paraguay, Costa Rica, Netherlands, Norway, and Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire, yes, Nigeria, Morocco, 3 African representatives. Now, looking at this critically, what's your perceived expectation for the Falconets in this tournament?
Looking at the Falconets, they are supposed to get the best out of this competition. No matter who they are drawn with, we have good talents coming from Nigeria, but I don't know, the structure in Nigeria is always not good enough for age-grade talents to be grown, and it looks like it's an issue, but we hope that they get the best out of this competition.
We hope they get the best out of this competition. That's what Divine says here in the studio. And of course, standard bearers, we're looking at the possibilities of them getting the best, but the likelihood cannot be overemphasized. And I think that is going to be one of the expectations of a lot of us football fans. Now, looking to next season, before we leave the studio, let's look. I want to project most basically the English Premier League. I want your candid evaluation, a candid opinion. Now, these are the teams I'm going to mention. I want you to tell me, Arsenal, how do you evaluate their season just ending, and what's your hope for them next season? What do you think they should do to get it right?
I think Arsenal, they I think that they have just been so unlucky, and the way they have been so unlucky is has just been so annoying. Their fans are not really coping. They're not really taking it as good enough as 3 seasons in a row, finishing almost close to the title, but not getting their hands on the title is has been an issue for them, and it's been a problem. Looking at Mikel Arteta, is looking he has been looking for a striker in the transfer market. I hope they get one, a good striker that can convert their chances. They have very creative players. We saw them play against PSV. The game against PSV in the UEFA Champions League in the knockout stage, where they did very well, scoring 7 goals in that game. It was a very good game. It showed how Arsenal have been creative, but no, they don't have a definite striker, a striker who is there to finish off the work. Kai Havertz has not been good enough. Gabriel Jesus has not been good enough either. They need a striker, and if they can get one, maybe they can get their hands on the English Premier League next season.
Yes, what about Chelsea?
Looking at Chelsea, the Conference League should be a wake-up call for them that they need to start winning trophies, and they are going to have a lot of competition next season. We saw what Nottingham Forest did this season, almost pushing heads with the big boys, and they had it tough. But Chelsea, I hope they do well next season.
Chelsea hoping to do well. Manchester United were appalling the all of this season. In fact, since the exit of Alex Ferguson over a decade ago, it's been one struggle to the other. What's your expectation for them next season?
I think Manchester United, they don't need to work on going to the UEFA Champions League or the UEFA Europa League. They just need to work on stepping up on their team. I think I was a bit happy that they didn't win the UEFA Europa League, because had it been the one they would have thought that their problems are over. They need to work on that team. The players are not giving their all for it. You see Bruno Fernandes sometimes getting angry, getting furious and all that. When the players are losing, you see their striker Højlund, a low budget Haaland, and he has not done half of what Haaland does. He's not good enough for the team. You look at Joshua Zexi, always running around. He doesn't even look like a striker to me. And Manchester United, they need to work on their team in this transfer window.
And coming to your own team, you never walk alone. That's Anfield slogan. And of course, yes, you've been an Anfield supporter all your life since I knew you as a kid, and still now as a teenager, you still support Liverpool. That's your team. Congratulations, first and foremost. It's been quite a while you won this tournament, and moving forward, interestingly, you are the champions of England. But then, yes, if you get to the top and you remain stagnated, other people will come meet you there and overturn you. What's your expectation for Liverpool next season?
I'll say this season it was a very good season for Liverpool. They were doing their best, doing everything they needed to do, and I think it was a bit of bad luck for Manchester City that helped us win the league, and also Arsenal not taking their chances when Liverpool dropped points. And you look at the way Liverpool have been going. Salah signing a contract, still remaining at Anfield, is a good one for me. And looking at the signings that we have been making so far, they are good signings. The players were there that Liverpool is being linked with, they are good players. And we look at it and we say next season we hope we get a better trophy. Maybe the UEFA Champions League will not be a bad option.
Yes, that's your dream. UEFA Champions League not to be a bad option, says the final getaway move. But however, let's look at one most important transfer in the world expectations right now. That's the movement of Victor Osimhen anywhere. Yes, information reaching us has been that Galatasaray are being told that, yes, if they want to pay for the Victor's team, management are saying they're going to be paying $350,000 a week or so. And of course, over 100 million sign-on fee, going to close to 200 million. Now, if you are the management team of Victor Osimhen, where will you advise him to go at 26, with the quality of football he has in between his legs, and of course, with the attitude of so many of these white football scouts, racist thoughts and all that? Africa produces some of the best players, not forgetting the fact that, yes, JJ Okocha actually was one of the best players during his prime. Even Ronaldinho confessing that he learned the tricks of dribbling and all that and showbooting from JJ Okocha, but he was never going to win the African Footballer of the Year, not to talk of whatever. But moving forward, Osimhen Victor, a player full of so much passion. He defends for his team, he attacks for his team, he scores goals, he can single-handedly decide a match, and now his contract with what's it called, Galatasaray, it's over, and he's gone back to be with his parent team, Napoli. But the expectations are he's not going to be staying in Napoli. Now, where would you want him to come to?
Victor Osimhen's management team, I would say Osimhen had a blockbuster season. He was a revelation at Galatasaray this season. He made the best out of the time he was given, and the Galatasaray fans, they loved him, they appreciated him. The players at Galatasaray, they worked with him, they worked for him, and he also worked for the team. I watched most of their games. As a big name, him going to the Turkish league brought a lot of viewers to their leagues, because I had to start watching Galatasaray matches to see how a Victor Osimhen was doing. He's a world class player, whether I like it or not. Some people are going to say he's not yet a world class player, but he has won the Golden Boot in Italy. He has won it in Turkey, a debut season in Turkey, and he won it. And he has been a fantastic player so far. And his attitude, his attacking mindset, all that he's doing for the Galatasaray team, he was a revelation there. And going back to Napoli are a team that don't appreciate him, no matter what he has done for them. I don't think they will appreciate him. Maybe next season, if he stays there, he might sit on the bench. So moving to maybe the English Premier League, trying himself out there against the best of the best, Haaland, Salah, and the rest of them, I think it would be a good option for him.
Yes, thinks it will be a good option for him. That's what Divine says. And so I think I concur with that narrative. Osimhen, my best bet for him should be coming to England, no doubt. But he had a JJ Okocha did give him an advice. So Osimhen, remain in Galatasaray and be an iconic personality there. Yes, it will stand the chance. If he's not going anywhere besides England, please, he should remain in Galatasaray. That's my own candid opinion. Let's look at the World Cup qualifiers as we round up sports, Midweek Sports. World Cup qualifiers in Europe resumes. Absolutely resumption of the will be on Friday. We have got blockbusting matches on Friday. We're going to look at Estonia. We're taking Israel, and Norway. We're taking Italy on Friday. And of course, looking at that group, it's expected that Norway tops the group. 2 wins from 2 points. 2 wins from 2 games on 6 points. Italy are not played any match so far. So let's just look at Norway and Italy. That will be the star match. Haaland for Norway, the Italians and all that. Let's look at Norway and Italy.
I think the Norwegian team, they have a very good set of players. You look at Haaland, you look at Odegaard. They have other good players in their mix, and taking on Italy, that's going to be the biggest match in that group so far. And looking at it, Norway versus Italy is going to be a big game. Haaland will look to show his best. The Italian team, a very defensive team that like to play compact football, and they might want to drop down Haaland, but I think Haaland is going to score against Italy. The Italian team, they are not really good. They've got some old legs in there, and it's not really good enough for them. So I think the Norwegian team are going to get the best out of it.
Yes, the Norwegians like to get the best. That was in Group I. In Group J, we'll look at Macedonia, North Macedonia playing Belgium, and Wales playing Liechtenstein. Of course, earlier on, this is Belgium's first match. They're going to play North Macedonia. And of course, North Macedonia tops the group. 2 rounds of matches, 1-1 and drawn 1, and they are on 4 points. Okay, that's a good one there. Let's look at the situation. How do we take it now? Critically, let's evaluate Belgium versus North Macedonia. Belgium, they've not played a match.
Yes, Belgium against North Macedonia. It should be a slaughter day for Belgium, because they should be beating the hell out of North Macedonia. And if North Macedonia to get a point, even a point out of the game, it should be considered a loss for Belgium, because Belgium they are expected to beat North Macedonia. North Macedonia is not a big team, and Belgium getting the win is my pick for me.
Belgium getting the win, so he says this is big for them. In Group H, we have Czech Republic playing against Montenegro, and of course Gibraltar will playing against Croatia at the World Cup qualifying Group H. Earlier on, the first round of matches, Czech Republic defeated Gibraltar by 4-0, and of course Montenegro defeated Faroe Island by 1-0, and that's a great one. Croatia has not played any match. They are going to be playing against Gibraltar. That should be a stroll in the park.
Yes, it should be considered a stroll in the park for the Croatian national team.
For the Croatian national team. And of course, in the CONCACAF second round World Cup qualifiers, Antigua and Barbuda will be playing against Cuba. And of course, not forgetting, let me go to CONMEBOL. That's where it's quite interesting. The CONMEBOL World Cup qualifications, all of these matches are going to be on Friday, because we're not going to be doing sports until Saturday again. So on Friday, we're going to have in CONMEBOL qualification World Cup qualifiers. Ecuador will be taking Brazil. And of course, Paraguay will be taking Uruguay. Chile will be taking Argentina. Colombia will be taking Peru. Venezuela will be taking Bolivia. But let's look at Ecuador versus Brazil.
In a continent where they have a lot of, hooligans, where they like to bully in their continental matches. And looking at Brazil versus Ecuador, they all have enemies: the Brazilian national team, the Argentine national team, and Brazil taking on Ecuador. I think it should be a win for Brazil, but it's going to be tough. The Ecuadorian national team, they're not a team to be stepped on, but Brazil, I think they are going to get the win out of this game.
Brazil, you think they're going to get a win out of this game? Brazil, I must let you know that Brazil, they're going to be playing away to Ecuador, and Argentina tops this group right now from 14 round of matches played. There are 21 points. Ecuador is second with 23 points. Uruguay is third, and Brazil are fourth. 5 teams to qualify. Paraguay are fifth. And of course, I must let you know, our viewers, that Carlo Ancelotti, the coach of Real Madrid and the most decorated football coach in the world presently, is now the new coach of the Seleção, the Brazilian national team. And Divine says Brazil should defeat Ecuador. Maybe with the motivation of the new coach, anything is possible. Finally, let's look at Argentina versus Chile. Argentina-Chile, that's quite a good one. If you look at Chile, are far off. They are 10th in the group. Argentina are top in the group. Argentina versus Chile. What's your take on this one?
Argentina taking on Chile is going to be in Argentina, and against Chile, this Argentine national team, they are a team that they have the hunger to win. They don't have the best players, but they have the hunger and they have the Messi factor there to motivate them, to keep pushing them to get to where they want to be. And in the World Cup, they are going to qualify and they are going to beat Chile.
Yes, they are going to qualify and are going to beat Chile. That's a good one. Of course, it's been a very wonderful afternoon on SRO television live here from Asaba. It's been midweek sports matchup. And of course, I had with me in the studio my sports prodigy, Divine Ogonewemu. Thanks for coming on the program.
It's always my pleasure.
And of course, our viewers out there, wherever you're viewing us on Instagram, YouTube, streaming online live, wherever you're viewing us in the globe, we want to appreciate you. It's been a very wonderful 45 minutes with you. Till I come my way again on Weekend Sports, I remain Misha Koza. I do have a blast of a week.
Nigeria Week London 2025. It's time to celebrate the pulse of Africa's most exciting nation. Nigeria Week London 2025 is coming to Hippodrome Theatre from July 24th to 26, 2025, showcasing the best in Nigerian arts, music, fashion, and investment opportunities. Whether you're looking to discover the future of real estate, explore Nigeria's culinary masterpieces, or get immersed in an electric Afrobeat performance, this is the event of the year. You can also join us for a film festival, cultural dance spectacles, and the recognition awards. Don't miss out on the business opportunities and cultural experiences waiting for you. Book your tickets now before they're gone on eventbrite.co.uk. Call or text +447 438 893 190 or 080 330 46768 or +447 459 071 747. Visit our website superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week London 2025. Nigeria Week London 2025, celebrating the best